And it's okay that Michelle Malkin joins us every Thursday at this time. Hey, Michelle, were you listening to Ed? The president, who was against Keystone last week, is for a portion of Keystone this week.
Yeah, but you got to love it. I'm calling this his green rehab tour, trying to rehab his image after all of these failed, bankrupt solar energy boondoggles. And then, of course, this huge debacle with the Keystone XL pipeline. And this really is a pipeline to nowhere that he's standing in front of, trying to appropriate a piece of it when, of course, he had his boot on the necks of the people who wanted to extend it and finish it and make it worth something. But this is just part and parcel of his entire have-it-both-ways strategy when it comes to trying to claim credit for lowering gas prices when he's got an interior secretary who wants to hike them up as high as possible.
Sure.
And try to claim credit for creating jobs when how many jobs have been lost. I think we need a new Obama jobs death toll to rack up all the jobs that have been lost as a result of these failed public investments that he's always touting.
Well, let's talk something that works, and that's algae. Let's just, why experiment when algae's ready to go?
Yeah, we got a lot of it.
So
Yeah.
How is this what some say a boondoggle?
Yeah, well, it doesn't work. It reeks is what it does. And I detail in my column all of the several different algae-based biofuel companies that have reaped tens of millions of dollars already from this administration, even though any legitimate scientist worth their salt will tell you that the enormous amount of money and time and energy that it takes to produce a limited amount of this stuff makes it, completely non-viable in terms of an alternative energy source for us. And of course, as usual, you got to connect the dots. There's a lot of green cronyism going on, and many of these companies, including Algenol, Solazyme, and Sapphire Energy, have ties to the White House. In fact, Solazyme has a board of advisors member, TJ Glautier, who actually was the same person who worked on shoveling all of the federal stimulus money to these very types of shady companies.
Switching topics a little bit, Nancy Pelosi was on Capitol Hill yesterday talking about Obamacare and how the founding fathers of our country probably would be very supportive of Obamacare. Let's listen to what she had to say.
What our founders put forth in our founding documents, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And that is exactly what the Affordable Care Act helps to guarantee.
And your reaction to that is?
This is my emetic
okay?
of the morning. She's actually a serial offender when it comes to invoking the founding fathers to justify this wholly unconstitutional, mother of all unconstitutional mandates. She did this before a couple of years ago after it was shoved down the American people's throats. I really think that this should be banned on the House floor. It's funny how she finally discovers the founding fathers only to justify the worst excesses of government.
Let's move on to California, out in Culver City. Michelle, apparently, as is the case with my kids' schools, there are a lot of parents who want to volunteer and want to help out. And, whatever money they raise, generally they have given to the school system to spend as they will. But now, apparently, the unions, the teachers' unions out there, want these volunteers to essentially unionize themselves, and give all the money they raise directly, not to the classes that their kids are in, but directly to the union so they can hire more union employees.
Yeah, that's right. This is a textbook case of how big labor sabotages voluntary actions by people who are willing to work for the public good. And in this case, what you have is this Culver City union threatened. Their monopoly is threatened by parents who have stepped up to the plate to try and rescue this financially strapped district. But we've seen this before, and I talked about a similar story on on your show a couple of years ago. It was a big story where the SEIU went after a poor little Boy Scout in Pennsylvania because he volunteered to beautify his parks.
Right.
And this is a theme that you see running when you've got these big labor thugs who don't like it when other people can do the jobs that they refuse to do.
Michelle, real quick about politics. I know you endorse Rick Santorum, but on RedState.com, that guy has now said, all right, Mitt Romney's the guy. Jeb Bush said it yesterday. Even the people from Freedom Works, Dick Armey, said, I'm not against Mitt Romney as much anymore. Are you going to support Mitt Romney? Does it seem inevitable to you?
Well, it's not inevitable until we get to the convention and everyone has had their say. I mean, we've got the Wisconsin primary coming up. A lot of people want to weigh in. Rick Santorum is still doing well in polls in North Carolina. And all of the candidates, none of them are dropping out at this point. None of them. Not Newt, not Rick, not Ron Paul. And so I understand that Mitt Romney is persuading more and more people, but we'll see. We'll wait until every last vote is counted before we determine who our front runner and standard bearer is.
It ain't over till it's over. By the way, one of the guys who did drop
Exactly.
out, Rick Perry, is going to be joining us about a half an hour from right now. Michelle, thank you very much. Have a
Rick.
great weekend.